Hello, Greg and Quinn here again. We're going to talk you through the Pendulum Lab. So this is the first actual lab that we do where data is collected like this. So we'll mention a few things about that as we go. But I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the setup. So all you need is some kind of a stanchion rod. Like you could use one of these aluminum rods. We've in the past just used a ring stand or something. And some kind of this is actually a fancy pendulum clamp, which allows you to change the length of the string pretty easily. But we've also done this with just some kind of a rod of some sort and had loops on the string or whatever. You just have to be able to change the length of the string. And then you need some masses. It tells you in the lab our suggestion on masses, but it really doesn't matter. Right now we have a 200-gram mass here. And then I don't know if you can see in the video, but I have a line drawn in the middle of the mass because it's important when you measure the length of the pendulum that you go from where the string is attached up on top to the center of mass of the thing, the bob hanging at the bottom. And then the other items that you need is you need a meter stick to measure the length of the pendulum. You need a stopwatch to measure the period. And you need a protractor, either a large fancy one like this or just a little one is fine. And so that you can use that up here to measure an angle of the amplitude. And that's about it on the setup stuff. That's all you need.
Now, for the procedure for the kiddos, there's essentially three small experiments within this one. We're trying to figure out what things actually change the period of the pendulum. So the first thing that we have them test is amplitude. And so that is with the holding up the protractor and varying how much you pull it back by and seeing what the period is. Now, for each of these labs, when you're measuring the period, we're going to be using a stopwatch for it. But because it goes back and forth so quickly, students won't be able to start and stop the stopwatch with just one period of the pendulum. So instead, what we're going to allow it to do is go back and forth multiple times. And it's also important to keep in mind what a period is. It's the time it takes to go forward and then back. So that was 1, that's 2, that's 3. So they'll do that 10 times, starting the stopwatch, stopping the stopwatch for one measurement. And then they would go check out a different amplitude, let it go 10 times, get the new time, and then so on. So the first one is with amplitude. The second one, they're going to vary the mass. If you want to be very particular with it, as they change the mass, it's actually going to change how low the mass sits. So the students can actually adjust the length by a small amount to keep the center of mass in the same spot. That's something you don't have to really concern with, but if the kids ask, or if you want to be very particular with it, it's a good kind of lesson of keeping your controls the same. The final one is the length. This is the one that will have an actual effect on the material itself. Again, we have this fancy pendulum thing, pendulum clamp, so we can adjust it on the fly, but really anything, if you just tie it up higher or lower, you can get some good variance in the length of it.
And make sure when they measure onto the mass that they're measuring to the center of the mass. I'm trying to show that here. It's not to the bottom. It's to the line that I have there, and then up to the bottom of this rod here would be the length of the pendulum. And as Quinn was saying, what we often have them do is, if you notice when you hook these on, the lengths don't line up. So all he was saying was you can just adjust the length of the string so that the length from the bottom of this metal to the line on the mass is the same for each trial if you want to.
Yeah, it's a pretty small difference, but you kind of have to watch out that it might actually lead to a trend when there isn't one on there. And because this is among our first labs, we generally take the time for the students to pay close attention to the sig figs that they're measuring, particularly with the length. Just being careful that they are using all the sig figs they can from their equipment, going from the line that's generated on the line that's on the equipment itself, and then guessing one place over sig fig wise.
The easiest way we have found to have kids measure the angle is just to take the protractor, and if the 0 is on the flat part of the protractor, which for some it is and some it isn't, but if it is, if you just set it up against this piece of metal that you're using, and when it's vertical, it's just be hanging straight down, and then you can just measure how many degrees you pull it back, like that.
Now, among our labs, this one is one that we inform them pretty much what to do. Like we demo it, kind of like we're demoing it for you right now. This is a great follow-up for our next lab, which is very similar, where we're looking at the periods that, the factors that affect the period of something, though with springs. And we let that to be more inquiry, where the students are trying to figure out what factors could be. We don't like to jump right into inquiry where they've never seen it before. So we kind of do this as almost a demo of this is what a good lab looks like. And then you'll see in our next video that the next one, we really let them take the lead on what things to measure, how they measure it, and hopefully use some of the lessons in this lab to help them with that one. All right.